Broadcasting live from our New England studio, Solutions Review is proud to showcase Infragistics in the Solution Spotlight, an inside look at enterprise technologies.
I'm Doug Atkinson here at Solutions Review, and welcome to the Solution Spotlight featuring Infragistics and focused on dashboards and decisions, secure customer-controlled AI analytics. AI is transforming how organizations interact with data, but most solutions require sending sensitive information to third-party services or sacrificing control for convenience. So today, we'll take a deep dive into how Reveal AI changes that equation by empowering developers and product teams to embed conversational and programmatic intelligence directly into their applications without exposing raw data outside your environment. And to walk us through the presentation today, we have Jason Beres, Chief Operating Officer at Infragistics. Jason, good to see you.
You too, Doug. Thank you.
Well, it's been a while since we've had you in the spotlight, but I did notice that there's a new title in the Cryon. Tell us a little bit about the new role.
Yeah, I was, prior to this, I was a Senior VP of our developer tools, mostly focused on Reveal, which you're going to see today, and our products, but I always have been lockstep with our marketing and sales. I've been at Infragistics now for 25 years, so it's been quite a long time. My focus is still very heavy on the tech side, driving product and innovation across all of our product lines. We have several: low-code, digital workplace, Reveal, and for BI, and then of course our dev tools, which we've been doing now for over 35 years. But yeah, new title, more responsibility, but having a blast, and I'm really excited today to talk about some of the innovation we're doing on the AI side with Reveal.
Well, and obviously the AI is the topic and will be the topic for some time now. So before we get started, if anybody has any questions about all of what you're about to see, and there's going to be a presentation and a demonstration, and obviously there are a lot of questions that can come up. If you have them, submit them. I'll take them and wait for Jason to wrap up what he's going to show us today. And I'll probably have a few myself, Jason. So why don't we let you jump into it? I know you're going to do an AI demonstration, which we're excited to see live. And I know this is all very near and dear to your heart, and so we couldn't have a better person leading this whole presentation today. So thanks very much, and take it away.
Yep, I appreciate it, Doug. Thank you very much. So yeah, I'm going to run through a few slides here, and then we'll get into a demo. I want to spend a lot of time on demo, but I want to set the stage for Reveal and what we're doing with Reveal. So today, the title of today's talk is From Dashboards to Decisions, Secure Customer-Controlled AI Analytics, and that's really the story with Reveal. We're doing more than just a conversational AI piece, which is really what you see everyone doing today. They have a RAG database, throw some stuff in there, and it's like super easy. You don't really get what you want, and it's mostly around content and documents. So how can you turn your enterprise data or your customers' data into something meaningful through AI to help them drive better decisions? So we're going to see how you can really elevate your app experience with embedded analytics and AI. The unique differentiator between what you get with Reveal and other BI products in the market is that we're a pure embed play. We have a client JavaScript library. We have NuGet, Node.js or Java packages based on your back end. And this is inside of your app. There's no SaaS. There's no going outside of your network. You control every aspect of the experience with embedded analytics. And part of the problem with SaaS apps and analytics in general is that you're constantly shifting back and forth between what's important in your product, what you're looking at in your application, and then trying to make data-driven decisions. So looking at how ISVs and SaaS companies need to deliver analytics to their customers, Reveal really is the only solution for you. And we say it's really your only choice. So we are true embed SDK. There's no iframes. Most of our prospects come to us for cost. SaaS products are way out of control in terms of cost. because you can't control the cost. The more customers you have, the more SaaS providers charge you. But really, we don't have iframes. Iframes kill user experience. So with a Reveal Embed SDK, you have full control over branding, over deployment, over the experience that you're delivering as part of your application. And that's the key thing. You do control everything, including your data. We don't touch your data. We have nothing to do with your data. Your data is either on-prem, on your cloud, on your services, or your servers, and that's what your customers access. So we have all different kinds of customers. Some have closed networks in the middle of the desert, and they're doing analytics with Reveal, and some have distributed clouds where they're letting their customers access their data through their own cloud. But the key is we're not doing anything with your data. You're secure. The third item here, fixed pricing, is really the sweet spot. Is we have one price and that's it. We don't charge you per user. We don't charge you per server. You pay a fixed cost every year and you can predict what that will be year after year. If you look at something like Power BI or others, year one, it might be X tens of thousands. Year two, it's 30, 40% higher. Every time you add a customer, you get charged that tax on whatever that cloud service charge is. So very difficult to predict what those costs end up being. And then, of course, your application might be a Java app. It might be a Node app running on Linux. It might be a .NET Core app. No matter what, we can cover the back end that you have in your application that you plan to embed in. So these four reasons we really look at Reveal as your real only choice for embedded analytics. And I think the numbers don't lie. So when you think about key decision-making criteria and why would you do a digital transformation? Why would you drive your application to have self-service BI, embedded analytics, more data-driven decision-making? Well, you need your users engaged so they renew your product. We all live and die by customer acquisition, which is extremely expensive, and then that renewal every year. So how can you ensure that you do guarantee the renewal? You have to have a rich backlog. You have to have new features. Well, doing embedded analytics, enabling data-driven decision-making in a digital transformation or just new features, maybe taking something that's old reporting into something more modern, will increase user engagement. Our surveys show at least a 50% increase, and then easily 10x time to market. Drives me crazy when we're on calls and we have someone saying, well, we could probably build this. Good luck. It's going to take over a year to build with multiple people. By the time you deliver a BI solution to your customers, if you build versus buy, it's already out of date. And then your product team, instead of focusing on the domain expertise of what really drives your revenue, they're focused on fixing bugs in charts, fixing bugs in the BI solution that you thought you could deliver better than buying. So we look at speed to market, the overall ROI of an embedded analytics product as being a key driver to why you would want to go down this route. Anywhere from $700,000 to $1.5 to $2 million, it could cost you to actually build a solution as robust as Reveal. So when we talk about AI, what does that mean? Well, our vision here is really thinking of this AI operating layer for business intelligence. So we want to empower everyone to turn a question into an insight. AI can help with that, but it has to work within the constructs of your application and your security. So we want to help teams make smarter, faster decisions with tools like Reveal, but we want to do it safely and we want to do it how you want to do it, not how we tell you how to do it. And that's what I think you'll take away from today's conversation. So if we look at redefining how your teams interact with data, we don't really look at Reveal as just a chatbot. So I'm going to show you a chatbot today, and a chatbot is usually what you see from most companies out, no matter what they're doing. It could be marketing software, it could be sales software, it could be anything. You're going to have that chat interface. So that's like a new modality of how we interact with everything now. So voice or chat seem to be very common. But when you're building software, like you are all building software, you can't just say, here's a chatbot from my vendor. Hopefully it looks like our application. Hopefully we can brand it. Maybe it doesn't have all the features we want. And that's the risk. So every time you end up looking at injecting something like AI, it's yet another chatbot that you have to use from a vendor. So with Reveal, while we are giving you a chatbot, we're essentially giving you APIs that you interact with and you can put wherever you want. So while the user is doing natural language, no matter what, you may want to do something unique and differentiating in other screens in your application and surface insights and surface dashboards. So if you can redefine the experience of what it's like for a user to drive actionable insights over their data, then you'll have a winning product in the market. And I think that's the key differentiator between using a purpose-built solution like Reveal versus just a wrapper over an LLM. So when we talk about this, at its core, what we're doing is we're giving you APIs. So you can put these APIs wherever you would like in your application. For folks that are existing Reveal customers today, the Reveal SDK code is probably, you probably recognize it, our load dashboard function, right? So we give you APIs today on the client that allow you to interact with server APIs to deliver dashboards to your users. Well, we're also giving you new stuff with the chat API or the AI API. So maybe you're offering multiple providers. How are we going to connect to those providers? What are the intents for those providers? What metadata do I get from either my data source or visualizations that already exist? So by providing APIs to you, we're going to give you the control of how you end up surfacing AI in your application. So for example, you'll see the box here on the lower right for our dashboard intents. So we have intent classifiers that allow you to dictate what happens when a user asks a question or requests an insight. So maybe you don't want to have a conversational AI feature. Maybe you don't want to have a user type in natural language queries and then get a result. Maybe you just want to take an existing dashboard and get a detailed board level style report from that. Well, you can do that with one of the intents. So we've got widget analysis, dashboard analysis, add filters, add global filters, edit existing dashboards. So imagine you have a dashboard that you created before AI, and now you allow users to say, add a total orders widget to this dashboard, and it just goes off and edits that dashboard and adds it for you. So we're not going to dictate how you build your application, how you work with your data, how you work with AI. We're just going to empower you through APIs to plug in to where you need to deliver results, insights, AI to your own users. So the beautiful thing about Reveal, and this is what's different, the big difference between Reveal and every other tool on the market that is a BI or a data tool, is they have a chatbot. You type in a question, they start spinning, and what they're doing is they're creating SQL statements off to a large language model. You have no idea where it's going. You really don't want to do ad hoc SQL on your database, and there's no security model built in. So unless you have complete control over how your data is exposed to an LLM, how a query is getting constructed, then you're basically giving control to someone else. So with Reveal, security is built in. So we do not expose your data anywhere. You're in complete control. In fact, AI is all opt-in. There's nothing turned on by default. You can use any large language model. So let's say, for example, you have an enterprise Azure account and you want to use OpenAI with Azure. Great. Use your API keys. You already have your authentication built into your application. That's going to be the conversation between your application and Azure, which is something that you probably already do. Or maybe you don't want to use an LLM. You want to use a small language model. Maybe you're using GPT, OSS, 120 billion on one of your servers already for maybe a RAG index or other natural language processing that you do. Great. Point Reveal to that small language model, and you can have any AI experience you would like. What we're going to do in terms of recommendation is we've done a lot of testing on different large language models and small language models. We'll give you guidance on where you can get the best results across those language models, because there's no doubt that your experience will vary between cloud providers, small language models, and the differences between them. Another key thing is, as I mentioned, we don't generate SQL statements. So we're not like ad hocing a SQL statement, because that's super easy to do. You probably did that on day 2 of seeing ChatGPT 3 years ago. You're like, oh my gosh, this thing can generate SQL. And then you realize that most of the SQL it generates is risky, could be wrong. It has no idea that, the difference between a select and insert or delete, unless you have all kinds of rules in place. So we are using our Reveal SDK DOM library, which is always shipped with Reveal, to generate the dashboard, the JSON that makes up a dashboard. And then it goes through the Reveal lifecycle on the server of getting the widget, the chart, the dashboard for that particular request. So the hard work that we've done is we've taken that natural language, we've used the Reveal server along with a bunch of new AI features we've layered on top to generate this dashboard. What does the dashboard do then? Well, it goes through the authentication, the data source items, the filtering, the user context lifecycle that Reveal goes through for every single request. So we literally can guarantee, 100% guarantee, that when you're using Reveal with AI, we are not going outside the bounds of your existing security model. So for example, create a dashboard with sales, analysis, whatever you might want to say. Oh, we're going to generate this JSON file that has metadata in it that will just execute what you've already done in your Reveal SDK code, which means certainly there's no way we can circumvent what you've already done in your own security context. So we go through that whole life cycle, and you'll always ensure that user A only sees what user A is supposed to see, because you've already done that work. We just take advantage of all that infrastructure that we've built and tested over the years of Reveal being in the market. And then lastly, you even have more control. You have the opportunity to whitelist, to change identifiers on what words mean, specific business terms. I'm going to show you all of this in the demo today, but we give you another level of control with AI that you don't get with the default Reveal. So let's say, for example, in Reveal, you allow users to access 10 tables, 10 views, whatever. You've got all this set up either through the object filter or data source items. And maybe you return null if it's not one of those options. With the AI, I can actually whitelist and say, hey, for this database, I only want this one view available for natural language queries for any intent that goes against it. So what does that mean? It means that you've already got a security context for the Reveal server. Now we've layered on an additional layer of security context through configuration that will allow you to offer AI, but maybe not offer AI for everything, or maybe just offer AI for something very specific. So this composable layer with built-in security just gives you tons of options on how you can deliver an amazing experience to your users. So with that, enough of the talking. Let's get into a demo. I'm going to show some different things today through a sample that's using Reveal. I'm going to show our chat-driven insight panel. I'm going to show how you can generate reports, how you can compose dashboards. And all along, if you're not familiar with Reveal or Reveal is new to you, you're going to get a good feeling for what Reveal can offer by the end of the demo. So I have a few pages here that have different features. So first, I'm going to start out with an AI chat. And the AI chat gives you a lot of capabilities, and we'll go through some of those intents. But if you are a Reveal customer or a prospect and you're looking at Reveal and you're wondering, like, what am I going to get? So in my slide deck, I showed you the APIs and kind of what they look like. We'll see some of that today. But you're going to get a chatbot UI. So you'll have a component that looks like this. This is actually a chatbot. This is from our Ignite UI product. So of course, Infragistics for the last 35 years is the leader in UI UX components for every platform, desktop, web, etc. This is actually a web component, a new chatbot that we built in response to needing it for Reveal, but it's also part of our Ignite UI product. So you can do what you would expect here. So let's just ask some questions. So how many orders per year? And what this does is it figures out the intent. It determines that I'm trying to create a new dashboard. Now it's going off, it's generating that dashboard, and it renders it in the normal Reveal view. So with a simple natural language question, I get a little bit of a response here. Of course, again, we're an SDK with APIs. You can control what shows up here. And then I have my visualization here with all of the built-in Reveal features. So I can do drill up, drill down. I can go to my overflow. I can go into edit mode. I can modify this. I can add a fixed line, a category. All of this is just built into Reveal. So it's very easy now to start a user off with a simple question and then let them continue to work on with whatever they'd like to with the capabilities of the SDK. So let's do another intent. What I want to do here is instead of asking a question, I actually want to add a visualization to this. So I'm going to say add a total orders widget. And what this will do is it sees that add intent, and there's some other intents that will trigger different results. And now it's going to not give me a brand new visualization on the left-hand side. It's actually going to just continue to add things to my dashboard. So let's say add a total sales widget and add a sales by country tree map. So I can actually specify what kind of visualization I want. So this is going to say, oh, okay, he wants total sales. He wants sales by country, but he said tree map. So of course, Reveal ships with 30 or 40 different visualization types. The AI is intelligent enough to understand that, oh, well, a tree map, sure, I know how to do that. So let's go ahead and make that happen. So you can see here is my tree map viz. Here's my total sales. What I want to organize this a little bit. So let's go into edit mode. I'm going to put this guy up here and actually let me put 1 million first. I want to change this to use just a different style of formatting so I can see a little bit more data. I could resize these visualizations, make them look a little bit different if I'd like, and ultimately check the box. And like I always do in my demos, you check the box and then this will save the visualization. What I added here is a save as, and I'm going to say save this as orders and sales overview. So now I didn't have to know what a schema was. I didn't have to know about data sources. I just asked questions, and in a few seconds, I have a dashboard. How cool is that? So we don't stop there. What you might have noticed as well is on my toolbar, I have some new buttons. So what we have added to our new toolbar, so if you're an existing customer watching this, Reveal has a new toolbar with some different options in it, but I have some new AI options on my toolbar. So the first thing I'm going to do is just say, hey, total number of orders for year, summarize this visualization. Again, this is just an API call. I'm surfacing it through this button click. You may not want to do that. You may want to surface it through your own button without a dashboard even showing. So what happens here is we pass the dashboard, the visualization ID, and the intent, and then the AI takes over, and I can get this summary anywhere I want. And if I'd like to, I can even add this to my dashboard. Oh, how cool is that? So now at the bottom, I've got some new text. I could move that to the top, make it look better, all that good stuff. But But what about up here on the dashboard level? So I've got summarize this dashboard and analyze the dashboard. So again, the same thing. You can surface this however you want, and you could get dashboard summaries or dashboard reports without even looking at a dashboard, because the context of the dashboard, the actual R- file, which is our dashboard format on the server, is all that matters. So all of this can happen on the server in the Reveal SDK, never doing anything on the client, and we're not exposing any data to any large language model. This is all done through looking at the R-, the JSON, and then determining through our AI what to display. So you can see here we got an amazing summary, comprehensive overview of order and performance, total sales, top 3 countries. Like, this is amazing. Manager says, what's going on with sales globally? 2 seconds later, I want to copy this. I'm going to paste it into an email, and my job is done. So let's go look at analyze this dashboard. The difference between summarize and analyze, the analyze just gives you a little bit more detail. And of course, this is AI. So we kind of have a format that we're guiding it to deliver this particular report. But again, because it's AI, it can always change its mind. But what we plan on doing is allowing you to customize these prompts even further. So if you have a prompt on what you would like to see every time that you do some sort of a management level report, we'll enable that through the SDK. And that means that you, again, have control over the experience that you're trying to deliver to your user. So this went through, it analyzed every visualization of my dashboard. It says here it's building its final report. So we'll see this fly out any second now. And there you go. Much more detail. Sometimes you have nice tables in these reports, but the idea is this is going to give you a deeper dive into what exactly someone might be looking at. But what's cool is a lot of our customers have very sophisticated ways of presenting their data, and maybe this isn't how they want to do it. So again, API, you control the UX. However you want to surface this to your users, completely up to you. So I already saved this dashboard. I'm good. I'm going to hit reset here. And what that's doing in my sample is clearing my chat window, clearing my editor. And I'm not going to like piecemeal a dashboard. I'm going to say create a sales and order analysis dashboard. And what is this going to do? You guessed it. It's going to look at my data, look at my schema, understand what my natural language is, and it's going to go ahead and create this dashboard. So while this is generating the dashboard, it'll take a couple seconds. I want to highlight that my sample is specifically using the Northwind Traders database, and this is running on Azure SQL up in the cloud. However, I can run any database, local, on-prem, etc. I'm using my OpenAI enterprise key. So this is connecting into GPT-5. However, as I mentioned, I can use any type of model that I would like. And I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. So here you can see, instead of piecemealing my dashboard, I just created one. And if there was enough here, I wanted more, I could say, hey, add this, add this, add this. They'll save it, and I'm done. In fact, let's save this guy. We'll just call this sales auto dashboard, because I want to save a couple dashboards for something I'm going to show you in a minute. So let's take a look really quick before I ask another question over like the different data sources that I have wired up and the different providers that I've tested with. So you can see in my data sources chooser, and this is just sample code. I'm going to show you where this is pulling from. I have a bunch of different databases here. MySQL, Oracle, different Northwind databases. I'm using Excel files. I have OLAP cubes that I've used, and I'm going to go back and forth on a couple of these throughout the demo. For my LLM providers, just so you can see what we've been testing with, OpenAI, Google, Claude, DeepSeek, local, Olama, OpenAI 4.1, Grok, you name it. we're testing with it. And what we'll do is as we get closer to onboarding people at the end of November, we will give you some numbers. Say, hey, if you're going to use Quen 3A, you should expect results that are 65% correct, and the average time to finish them is 10 seconds. If you use GPT-5, 30 billion, you'll get like a 70% success rate, and it'll take 3 seconds. So we'll give you all that information to help you make better decisions. So let's take a look at something here. I'm going to hit reset, and I'm going to say list our customers. So what is this going to do? Same thing, but what I'm trying to demonstrate here is a little bit of that whitelisting that I had mentioned in terms of tables on a database. So what this is going to actually give me is a data grid with all of my customers. Why is that? Yeah, I have permission to see this. Next, I'm going to say list our shippers. So this should give me a list of our shippers. I think Speedy Express and some other ones are in our shipper list. So let's give this a second, and boom, there we go. Okay, that's great. Let me go back to Visual Studio, and I want to show you our metadata whitelist configuration. So what this is doing is it's taking a JSON file or from anywhere, we don't really care. And I am saying that for Northwind Cloud, for this database, allow this table, allow this table, allow this table. You'll notice shippers is not in my list. For my Infragistics cube, allow this only, this table. Don't allow anything else. For my AdventureWorks, allow this. Don't allow anything else. The idea is I want to control what my AI has access to. So Northwind Cloud does not have shippers. Let's go back to here. Let's change this to Northwind Cloud, which is going to be right here. And my database is going to be Northwind Cloud. I'm going to stick with OpenAI, and I'm going to say list our shippers. And let's see what results we get. So what's interesting is that, as I was preparing for this demo, the LLM would sometimes return, I have no idea what you're talking about. Can you please specify what you mean? But we do know that in the orders table, there is a ship via, which is weird. Northwind has ship via and not like shipper ID. So it tried its best and it couldn't give me the list of shippers, but it did say that this is shipper ID 1, shipper ID 2, shipper ID 3. So if I really didn't want any shipper information, I could remove the orders table from that list, but then that wouldn't help me get really the answers that I want. So by being able to whitelist specific tables that you're going to give users access to, you can control what is in that output. And I'm on Northwind Cloud. Let's go over to Postgres. So I have the same Northwind data on Postgres, and I'm just going to say how many orders by country. And just so you can see some different databases in action. I was using Athena last night, and everything works really well. In fact, this Postgres database is running on my machine. So it's a local database. So it's like on-prem, and you can see here, same results, super fast, looks amazing. So let's hit reset. Let's do one other thing. I'm going to go back over to my Northwind AI database. And the difference between Northwind AI, Northwind Cloud is literally nothing. They're all just different Northwind databases on different servers. But let's do something unique. So at my business and Acme Analytics, let's say, we don't use the word order ID. We have a domain-specific language that we use in the business. So if I say how many chop per year, well, what the heck is chop? Well, what I did is something a little radical and extreme in my configuration to guide the LLM to know that when we use the word chop, it should actually be using the order ID. So We also allow you to add your domain-specific language, sort of like a data catalog per se, where we say this, but the underlying database says this. The best article I read, and this was like 2 years ago, is it said AI cannot fix your data problem. And everyone has a data problem, and they think there's some magic silver bullet to make it all work better. It's not. It's hard work. The biggest challenge for delivering self-service BI to your customers is getting that data in order. And that's where most of the time takes. So even with Reveal, the biggest piece of onboarding is a prospect figuring out how their data can best be worked and modified and modeled to deliver to users. So in this case, we're going to keep using Chop because that's what we call order ID. So if I go to my metadata overrides, you're going to see for my data sources, which data source, Northwind AI, which database, which table, the order ID field, its alias is Chop. And I'm going to give it a description here. This field we call Chop when referring to orders and the order ID. And if it's more expressive, you can add as much description as you'd like. You can add as many fields as you'd like for as many tables. So I would imagine that when this rolls out in your enterprise, and if you really have funky data on the back end that you want to serve up through AI, you're going to have dozens and dozens of aliases in your overrides. So what we're doing on the Reveal AI is we're pulling the metadata whitelist, we're pulling the metadata overrides, we're looking at the data sources, and we're using that information to inform our AI on what to do. So that's kind of how it works. So I'm going to leave this exactly where it's at. I'm going to go over to load and chat. And what am I going to do here? So this is just yet another example of how you can present AI to your users. On my previous AI chat, I had a chat screen on the left, and on the right, I was showing a dashboard. Well, you already have a bunch of dashboards made. So remember earlier, I created these two dashboards, or the AI created them. I saved them, but I still want to offer my users the ability to modify dashboards, give them a different UI. Again, this box here, maybe you don't want that chat. Maybe you just want a simple box that people can type in questions. You know, how many orders by salesperson? And let this go. You can see it says sending question, editing dashboard. So it figured out that, well, maybe his intent here is to edit this dashboard, and now it's going to try to give me the result and then add it to this particular dashboard. So the idea with this sample is that the way that you surface your existing dashboards to your users is completely up to you. You have, in my demos, I always have a list of dashboards on the left. We have that nice thumbnail, and then you click it, the dashboard shows up on the right. You might have a select. Some customers have tabs. Well, in this case, I just said, what's my sales by country? Looks like the AI had a little trouble there. Is this the right biz? No, number of orders by salesperson. It messed that one up. But here's my number of orders by salesperson. It actually did it correctly. It added it to my dashboard. So I have an existing dashboard. I asked a question in a text box, not a chat AI, and it added the dashboard for me. So this, again, another cool way to do it. And in fact, I'm still doing the same thing here. I can edit these guys. In fact, this one here, I'm not sure. Oh, what happened is the label disappeared for some reason. So let's go to ship country. There I've got ship country. And of course, this is a tree map. So the whole idea is that you have a hierarchy of data here. So let's check that box. We can make this guy a little smaller. No, that doesn't look good. We'll just make these a little bit bigger. And we'll leave our dashboard just like that. Perfect. Scroll down, line this guy up underneath, make this one a little bit bigger. Looks great. Check this box, and I can save this dashboard as well here. When I'm in edit mode, remember in Reveal, when someone clicks the checkbox, you can take over and then automatically save that dashboard, so you have control over those APIs. So if I jump over to custom chat, This is, again, just another way for you to present something to your users, maybe in a different way. So we'll let this guy load up, and you can see that it's saying loading metadata. So because, and I didn't really modify it, I might have hit a space or something in those JSON files. It actually retook those guys and made sure that my whitelist and my overrides are going to be available for any conversation that I have here. So again, this is just another type of dashboard that I can create a sales person and orders dashboard, and this will go off and create it for me. What I did here is in our intents, we're actually returning what the progress is of the creation of the dashboard. So I'm still getting that, even though I'm not using that chat AI, and I am going to display it here in like a very subtle way over in the right-hand side. So again, another dashboard. I can do analyze, summarize, do my reporting. I can save this guy as something, we'll call it salesperson dashboard, and looks great. Reset, resend, all that good stuff. But one thing I want to highlight for folks that aren't customers. So when you think about a BI tool, you think about, okay, I have a schema of fields. Somehow I have to configure this dashboard. How am I going to do that? Well, there's like, all right, I got to know what this field means. I got to know what an aggregate is. Like, oh my gosh, it's so confusing. Well, Reveal, because we're an SDK, and I say that a lot, because we are an SDK, we hand the capability over to you on the experience that you want to deliver. So this sample, it's not an AI sample. It is just using that same Reveal SDK DOM that we're using in AI to give me a flat list of every visualization in those dashboards that I just created. So if we look at total orders and sales here in the salesperson dashboard, that's what that looks like. If I go back to load in chat, and there's my salesperson dashboard, salesperson dashboard, that's this visualization. So I basically flattened my list out and I just list them individually. But my point is, I want my users to create dashboards based on templates that we might already ship. So I just give them a simple point and click with this visualization catalog. I'm still in the editor here, so I can still resize things, make this look however I want. I can edit visualizations and change data values. The point is, with Reveal, even when you're not using AI, we make it extremely simple for you to create brand new dashboards, or your users to create brand new dashboards based on maybe templates or presets that you deliver with simple point and click, drag and drop, whatever you like. So I'm just going to call this one new dashboard. And I will just click the checkbox, and now I've just created a brand new dashboard. I didn't need to know anything. Now, this isn't using AI, but my point is it's super easy to do that. But let's say you don't even want to do that. I don't want point and click. I just want to give my users a bunch of tables. They kind of know what these fields mean, or I have a preset number of views. Just let them create something with point and click with AI. So this is a list of all of the tables and views that I'm allowed to see in my Northwind AI data source. So you'll see I got a bunch of stuff here. Here's the invoices table. There's the different data items in the table with their data type. And you could just very easily create dashboards with AI with point and click, select these fields, generate. What is this doing? It's basically doing the same thing I would be doing in an AI chat. What is product stocks analysis, or create a product stocks analysis dashboard? But when I do that in the AI chat, we have to figure out your intent. And we may not be looking at a predefined view. What we may be doing is joining customers, orders, order details, categories, shippers, and then generating that dashboard. So here, with just selecting some stuff, I just created a brand new dashboard, and I just saved it. Product stock analysis dashboard. Go back here, product stock analysis dashboard. It just got created. So let's go back to this, and let's do something a little bit more sophisticated. I want to grab some fields from customers, company name, contact title, I want to get some order information. Look at that, order ID. Oh, there's my chop chop. How cool is that? Customer ID, whatever, ship via, freight, ship date. And let's go down to shippers, and I'll grab shippers and we'll generate. So this is where it gets really cool. If you're a SQL whiz, which many of you, if you're not a SQL whiz today, you probably were in your previous life, you're like, oh yeah, that's easy. That's going to be an inner join on XYZ table. Well, we're not generating SQL. We're actually generating the definition of a data blend in the R- file in the dashboard. So we respect the whole security lifecycle. So with that, I select some fields, I get some data back. And like usual with Reveal, like this is cool, but I might want more. So why don't we duplicate this visualization? I'm going to edit it. I want to do a column chart, and I want it to display like this. Or this guy here, freight costs over time. I don't really need to see it by month. I really need to see it over by year. So I'm going to replace that with year, and let's do a column chart. That's fine. And what else do we got here? My order IDs. I'm going to duplicate this guy, and we'll make it a little bit bigger, and we'll edit this guy. And what else do we have here? Ship country. Oh, that's cool. Why don't we go here? Let's grab a map. I'm going to say, let's do world countries. And I don't want company name. I want to use ship country. So just like that, I've got a brand new dashboard, customer orders and shipping dashboard, save it. I really didn't have to think too much. I had AI created, I customized it, and it's ready to go. So I have all these dashboards. So cool. You're probably all pretty amazed at like how easy this is and how beautiful it is. But what about all the dashboards that you've created? And what about new dashboards that I'm starting to collect now? Because of AI, now I've got hundreds of dashboards all over the place, and I still want AI to manage those. So Reveal is, as I said earlier, it's an R- extension. The dashboard file is an R-. Inside that R- is a JSON file that's just plain text. Well, we've added a new feature to that JSON file called AI metadata. What can you do with AI metadata? Well, that means you can train all of your dashboards, or train a RAG database, a vector database on your dashboard. So let's do that. So right now, I actually have a vector database up in Azure using Azure AI Search, secure in my domain with my authentication key. So no one can access it except the people that have access to my key vault, which you can only get through. Oh, all this is like in your security context. But let's look at the salesperson dashboard. What I did here is using the same technique. I parsed this dashboard using our document object model library, and I listed every visualization with some descriptions here. And what I want to do is I want to generate AI content to update my AI metadata. So I just click this button, and my goal here is to make this visualization useful to a natural language search. So how do you do that? Well, you inspect the metadata of the visualization, and then you let the AI create potential questions that people might ask, like who made the most sales? Who had the least orders? Who are the top performers? And maybe I want to do something so basic. What are sales by salesperson, right? Like something really simple. I'm going to hit save. What did that do? It edited the dashboard, injected this into AI metadata, and now I updated, and at the same time, I updated my Azure Search Index. So let's go ahead and generate AI content here, and let's generate AI content here. So this is off using my same LLM or small language model or whatever you happen to have, and it's going to generate those questions. So let's wait for it to do this. You know, we're at the mercy of the performance of the LLM, the small language model, whatever I happen to be having in my internet speed here. So let's let this generate. This guy did it well. I'll save that metadata. Great, save that metadata. Cool. If I want to do this for another dashboard, order and sales overview, total number of orders per year, generate AI content, and let's save this guy off really quick. So what you have now with the existing dashboards that you have if you're a customer, and you have new dashboards that you're creating with AI, you can just put this into your pipeline. So Reveal has a IRV dashboard provider interface on the server. What does that do? It handles every save and load. So when you save a dashboard, you could run it through a process like this to generate AI metadata and make it available in a vector database. So I've updated Azure search index. Let's list the items. These are all in my Azure AI search index. So I can ask a question. What are total orders? And I'll hit enter. This goes off to Azure, and you can see, because I'm not creating a new dashboard, I'm just pulling something that already exists. I have the dashboard name, the visualization ID, and now I'm using that to display my visualization. It gives me its closest match. So you'll see here, this is total number of orders per year. It's 50% certain this is what it is. Let's see what dashboard this is from. Oh yeah, this looks great. So as a user, this might be good enough for me. I'm done. I don't need to create a new dashboard. I'm finding stuff on my own. If I look at salesperson dashboard, like what are sales by salesperson? We'll just copy this. We'll ask it a basic question. And what we should see is that result, 63% certainty. We scroll down. We have some other sales data, but you'll notice this is 63, this is 57, this is 35, so this probably isn't right. The minimum relevance score is important. When you're working with AI and model results from models, anything above 50 is that the model is like pretty certain that's the right answer. So if the model says, well, you asked for sales by salesperson, I gave you this. This is over 50%. This is most likely the exact right answer that you want. So let's change this to 0.5. We'll do a search, same exact question. And I get two results. One's 57 because they're both kind of right. You can choose what to do with this, what you want. But my point here is that while we do give you all kinds of ways to interact with the models and your schemas and your metadata to create dashboards and visualizations, we also give you ways to use your existing visualizations as well. And by the way, we're not providing a vector database. You are. What we're providing you is the way to implement this on your own through the dashboard file, so you don't have to make up some like crazy thing. And then finally, because I know we're almost out of time and we got to get back to a couple questions that are coming up, I want to highlight this playground sample, which we will ship when we onboard you. And basically what it does is it gives you some different things that you can play with and experiment with on different intents to learn how the AI works, right? So having a playground, you can dissect what the APIs are being used and then kind of backward build that into your own application. But our goal here is to really empower you with a way to deliver amazing AI experiences to your customers. So I'll wrap up with this slide. Well, what's next for you? If you're an existing customer, we are onboarding preview customers through the end of the year. What is the goal of this onboarding? Getting you set up with AI. We'll do a meeting, show you how to do the configuration, all that good stuff, but we want feedback. We've done exhaustive testing. This has been going on now for over 2 years at Infragistics for our AI over data project for Reveal. We've spent millions of dollars because we've been going along with the improvements in AI. When we first started this, we did some basic stuff like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. And then we realized the limitations of a lot of the models. And then you have to understand, in order to add real value on top of AI, it's a lot of work. We've done that work for you. So contact your sales rep if you're an existing customer, and let's talk about what your existing configuration is, because we do want you to start giving us feedback. And if you're not a customer and Reveal looks like a fit, contact our VP of Reveal, Eric Lagunas, eric@revealbi.io. And of course, I have the website peppered everywhere, revealbi.io. But with that, Doug, I'll hand it back to you and we'll wrap it up.
Well, thanks, Jason. Always a tour de force to watch you walk through a presentation and demo, and I can clearly see the passion involved here, and rightfully so. I mean, this is the game. This is where it's all going to happen, and we're really, remarkably, at least with generative AI and kind of its public awareness, really only about 1,000 days in to this whole revolution. So, amazing amount of progress being made at Infragistics. I'm curious though, because you did point out its confidence score. So you're working with obviously all the major LLMs, and then in those reports that you were showing toward the end, there was a confidence score, which I believe is self-reported by the LLM or the
Yes.
As what it believes is accurate. But I think earlier in the presentation you mentioned that there was going to be some spot checking on the accuracy of the results and so you can begin to rank out which LLMs are being delivering more accurate results for whatever the specific client. Is that how you're going to look at it?
Yeah, what we're going to provide is in the sample that I was showing there, when I slid open one of the panels, you might have seen there's a test runner. So what you can do is you can take like as many dashboards as you'd like that you've already created that you know are correct. And then we'll try to do the same thing with AI. And you could change the model. You could change, different, configurations on the model and see the results. So that's going to help you determine what is the best model to give the best results in the best time for your users. So there might be a model that gives amazing results all the time, but it's really slow and your users get frustrated. There may be a model like Gemini Flash is super fast, but it's also wrong a lot, right? So we're going to give you a test bed sort of to run through your own config and then let you decide. We're going to have our own recommendations based on our own testing. But yeah, that relevance score ends up being very important because, if it's constantly above 50, it's in 60, like the one result, you're like, yeah, this is actually pretty good.
Well, and I think it's an interesting nuance that, we are not quite there yet. And there does need to be a bit of a spot check, or at least a consideration given to whether or not what you're seeing is actually the truth, which I think we're all going to end up wanting the truth, and we're going to want it fast, and we're going to want it simply. But I think it's fascinating that you're considering kind of baking in that spot check, which I think is a very interesting nuance. We do have an audience question, which I will read verbatim. Does the AI work with use cases involving calculated fields?
Yeah, we will add calculated fields. So, in fact, I probably could have edited some of the dashboards that it generated. And you'll see that we actually create a calculated field. So if I say, what is the total revenue per year? Well, there is no revenue field in my database. I have number of quantity ordered, price, discount rate, like different fields. And we actually created a calculated field and we rendered the results. So we'll auto-generate calculated fields based on those questions, 100%.
It's great. We are unfortunately out of time, but I am always very impressed. We've had you on before a couple of times, and we've also talking to your CEO Dean, and he's an incredibly compelling leader to talk to, and this is where we're headed. You guys are really leading the league here in the way you're thinking about it. It's been a pleasure to have you on. Thanks very much for showing this, and best of luck. I know this is new, and I know you're looking for all the feedback, so we would encourage as well any Infragistic customers to reach out and get involved in this new initiative. And I would expect nothing more than to hear great things going forward in 2026. So Jason, once again, thanks very much for being here, and best of luck next year.
Thank you so much, Doug. I appreciate it.
So there you have it, another solution in our spotlight. We want to thank Jason and Infragistics for that presentation today, and we appreciate your attendance as well. Until next time, I'm Doug Atkinson here at Solutions Review. Thanks for watching.
If your business would like to be featured in a future event, contact us today.